Little brats. Yes. I didn't think I was on that long though. 'Cause I was done at 7, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. I guess it has been 8 hours. I didn't realize it. Where'd Danny go? I hope she comes back. Danny! Digital kids, I bet, would be fun. I hate when they do that. I need to put number part 2. Yep, I had to. Oh no, it's Fishy. He found us. Good morning. We haven't been to bed yet. Have you been up all night too? So anyways, where's Danny at? Danny, come back. I wanted to talk to her more about digital kids. Oh, and I missed it. Yeah, but sometimes you gotta watch on that too because I think people can share them and they just don't tell people. I think people can get ripped off on those. I've never done that and I wouldn't because I know what it goes into put into them because I have bought some digital kits that I have saved. And once you do have the set, you can use it as many times as you want. But I know people that have done stuff like that. Like back, not lately, but back when we had stuff, they would share it and it was like, no, you're costing the person. That's the only risk that you take with a digital kit. I don't tell people what digital kits I buy. I have some that when I was working on certain projects, I buy them and I keep them stored, but I've never shared them. I wouldn't do that to a person. I'm working on one right now that I've been working on offline, but it's nothing spectacular. I don't even know if anybody will like it. I actually have the tags to it in my Etsy store right now. I think they're a little pricey, but I couldn't take it any lower than that. But I want to add to that and keep it at the same price. But I had fun making those tags. Anything that you make offline, and see, that's another thing where I think copyrights get finicky if you're using like Tim Holtz or something. Because if you make these artist trading cards offline, and say it would have a picture in it like that's Tim Holtz, and say you would scan this back into your computer, even though you made it, how can that not be copyrighted? If you're putting somebody else's stuff on it and then you're scanning it and reusing it. But I created this. Tim Holtz didn't create this. I did. But if it would have a Tim Holtz, like say a person in it, how would you not get in trouble for that? Say I would have like a Tim Holtz person right here or something, but this is my creation. That's what I said. There's so many fine lines to do with copyrights that it gets confusing to me sometimes. But it's your creation though. That's what I'm saying. Once it's your creation, I should be able to scan this because I have seen people do that to make digital kits. I've seen people literally take and add things to like cards like this out of book pages and everything. And they would scan it in and make it part of a digital kit, and that is their work. So how is that not the same? Yeah, but no, but they've done it. They've made it a digital and then sold it because it was their work. No. Sometimes when you're on here for like 8 hours, it'll stop your stream and you have to start over. Or sometimes it'll buffer and people have to start over. And sometimes it just stops altogether. Oh, I don't know. I've just seen people do it. Hey, Living. Good morning. I don't know, Amy. All I know is I've seen people do it and they've turned, I mean, bigger YouTubers have, and their shop has never closed. They've taken and, bought things or, whatever. Because once you pay for Tim Holtz, it's yours. Once you buy it from the store, it is yours. So they've taken and they've created something, and then they turned around and they because people, I've seen people on live streams like, oh, that's so cool that you made that with that. You should scan it. So they did, and they turned it into a digital, and they've never gotten in trouble ever because it's their work. They paid for the Tim Holtz, whether they scanned it or not, they still paid for it and still made the creation with it. That's what I mean. I just get confused over stuff like that. Because there's so many ways people can twist things and manipulate them and they get away with it. Oh, you stayed up all night too, Fishy. Listen to you. I don't know, but I've seen it done. Because I don't know how it works nowadays, but I know if you changed it for 10% of somebody else's artwork, you could claim it as yours. I don't know if it stopped that or not. I'm just curious because I've seen people do it. I think a lot of things that people create like this when they make their artist trading cards and they rescan it, and I've rescanned my work in. It's mine. Like I didn't make this particular border, but I fussy cutted this, and if I scan this and I decide to turn it into a card, they can't do nothing to me because I created this. That's what I mean. It's just like there's such a fine line. I don't get it all. I don't understand it. I didn't create that button, but if I scan it in. Yeah, but I mean, it's your art though. That's what I'm trying to say. If you take a magazine, for instance, you paid for it. So if you tear that picture out and you glue it to something and then you turn around and scan it in, how was that copyright when you bought it? That's what I mean. It gets so frustrating because I know even online, there's some gamers dealing with that right now. They have a game that they're playing, and it's crazy because it's like YouTube picks their favorites who to copyright strike and who not to. Just for instance, there's copyrighted music in the damn games. I mean, seriously. Just because these people are playing the music when they're playing the game on YouTube, how is that a copyright? They're not selling it. They're not doing anything with it. They paid for that game. So just because the music is playing while they're playing the game, they get in trouble for it. But then there's some channels they don't. So I do know that YouTube plays favorites when it comes to stuff like that. I think it's awful that just because the music is in a person's game, it's not their fault they bought that game and it has music in it. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's trying to wrap my brain around it, Amy. I'm not arguing with you. If I was arguing with you, you'd know it. This is a conversation that comes up in quite a lot of streams. We've talked about this even with other people, and some other people don't understand it either. And it is productive because you're actually getting it out in the open and you're getting other people's opinions. I just think it's crazy to buy a game with copyrighted music on it that you can't play even on your stuff. It's crazy trying to wrap your brain around it. And they've lost channels over it. That's just like this one lady I was watching, she was doing a vlog and she was going to Tennessee. Okay, so she's sitting there with her camera and her husband's driving and she's showing out the window and all this other stuff. And just because Journey came on the radio, that's not her fault. YouTube comes at her with a copyright strike. And then somebody said too that you can play up to, I think, so many seconds of a song or something, and they don't copyright strike. I think I heard this on Pusha Studios because they have Tech Talk Tuesdays. They said if there's so many seconds of it, they can't copyright you for it, but they will if you play like the whole song or something, or so many minutes into the song. I don't know. I don't understand it all. I just think it's really hard when you look at certain things that people do. I just think it gets confusing to other crafters, especially when there's new people coming into the game every day and they don't understand everything to do with copyrights. Because one minute it's like they say because you pay for it with your own money, you own it, but then do you really? You don't really own it if you can't reuse it. My husband asks me these questions all the time too. We go in circles talking about it because we try to wrap our brains around it. It's called learning. But I haven't read the guild laws lately. I just know back in when we started into all this, if you changed over 10% of a person's art, you could claim it for yourself. And then they came in for with guild, which I never personally did. But then guild came in and changed everything to where you had to have like license numbers and all kinds of stuff on your tags and things, because if you didn't, the $20 I was saying that you paid for Garb Graphics, if you didn't pay the $20 and have that particular license in your tag, then you weren't allowed to use his art. That's when it all changed. And the MSN groups ended up shutting down and quit doing it because people were fighting over stuff too much. And I think a lot of it turned into more jealousy than anything because people were making tags better than other people on different sites. It just turned into a really ugly mess. I didn't get involved in it because to me personally, I didn't make money off of it. So I wasn't going to pay for those licenses. I just quit doing them. I have a crap load of Garb Girls on here, but I can't use them. But then getting into all of this stuff, it's like crazy because if you go to like Joann's Fabrics and you pay this high amount of money to buy this stuff like Tim Holtz and stuff, and you can't even, because you can recopy digitals. I mean, you can keep reusing digitals. You can keep running off through your computer over and over and over again 30,000 times if you want to, and you can sell them in your journals. So you have a digital artist creating digital kits that you can totally reuse over and over and over again, and it's not copyright. But yet you can't create something with something you bought because it is copyright. That's what I'm saying. It gets confusing. Hey, Brooklyn. Just staying up too late and not getting enough sleep. What are you up to tonight? I can do my own drawings. I can do my own doodles. I don't need to use a bunch of other people's stuff. But I just think it's sad that when you buy something, it's really not yours. you should be able to make copies of it if you want to, just for journaling cards and little stuff. I mean, I just don't see anything wrong with it if you're not mass producing. That's just all I was saying, Amy. That's my opinion. Just some things just don't make sense to me. It's not like I sell a bunch of journals anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. For my own personal journals, I use whatever I want to. But when I sell journals, it's a different story. I've never sold a journal that had anything copied in it because the laws, I think, are just really strict on this stuff. I'm getting ready to go to bed, Brooklyn. What are you up to? Are you still here? The numbers tonight have been really weird because I've noticed they have been jumping like 2 to 3 to 4, and then they go down to 1, like there's nobody here, but there's still people here. I don't know. YouTube's acting weird. I don't know. I don't sell digital form, so I haven't played with digital enough. The only thing I've done is, well, just for instance, too, like this. Okay. I took a couple sheets of paper because I was playing with this one night at home. I took a book that was falling apart and I ripped pieces of it up. You know how like you rip pieces and you add it to like a tag and you decoupage it or whatever? Well, why wouldn't that be copyrighted? I mean, just as an example, even though it's torn pages, because I've seen people do that too. They'll take pieces like pages out of a book, you know what I'm saying? And they'll take like a piece of paper like this, for instance, and then say they glue those pieces like sideways or whatnot. And then they copy them off as like a sheet to go into a book. So that book is written by an author. Why isn't that copyrighted? But that's not illegal to do. It is not illegal to do that. Because there is an artist on here literally who took a piece of paper that had musical notes on it, and they put musical notes on it and then painted over it with different paints, copied it and turned it digital, and it is their art. It's considered hers because she painted it. And I'm like, how is that not copyrighted? Like, I ask myself these questions all the time when I'm doing this stuff, but it is not a copyright. If a piece of paper is torn up and it's all over the place, how are you going to prove who it came from? You can't even prove what book it came from, let alone to prove if it's copyrighted or not. So that's what I said. A lot of it doesn't make sense. I know I probably overthink things, but I do because I don't want to get in trouble. That's why I ask these questions. But it isn't illegal to tear it and to make a digital copy of a piece of paper. It's not illegal. But it should be. Because like right now I have digital, these things in my store digital. I think it's this size right here. And what I did was I did exactly that. I took pieces of paper out of a book and I covered one of these pretty much. And then I took a marker and I colored it in. Then I outlined it in black. And then I made a digital copy of it. And it's not illegal to do that. I can sell that as a digital copy, even though I didn't write the page out of that book. And that is not illegal. And it's in my store right now. And it looks pretty. I'm trying to make the pages to match them though. I wanted to do something basic. Hey, Cleveland, and do something colorful to try to see what I could come up with just to give people a variety. So that's my first digital kit. It's made out of a book page that I didn't write. So, I don't know. But it looks pretty. I've got 3 colors done so far, but my markers were running out, so I had to get some new markers. But I wanna finish off the colors because they'll match the tags when I'm done. I don't know, it just gives me a headache sometimes, and when I talk to a couple people in, a Facebook page, one of the ladies even told me, she says, "You will get a migraine with all this copyright stuff because some things are allowed, some things aren't, and it just gives you a headache." She says, "Sometimes I have to go in," and she says, "I have to really dig deep because, like, I have a science book, for instance. Whoever took the photography in that particular science book, just because the book is out of copyright date does not mean the photography is." She said, "Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper and you have to look up who the pictures were," because I had somebody ask me for a picture out of one of my science books that I had. It was an old, I think, biology book because that particular artist was the picture was worth a lot of money. And there was a guy there for a while who was cutting pictures out of magazines and selling them like the actual I think it was advertisements they were looking for in some of the older books because they were actually worth money because they couldn't get them updated because they were back in the day where they were more like artists. So he was cutting like all these different pictures out of these magazines, selling them separate because they were worth money. I just think it's wild when you go digging because you find out so much information. What kind of paints do you like? I used to have a relative in my family that loved oil painting. I had a great uncle that was an oil painter, but they always say oil paints take forever to dry. Well, that sounds cool. I've been to a local art museum. Yeah, it's crazy. There was a guy selling them along the road on one of our main highways here. People were looking at him like he was crazy, but he knew what he was doing because they couldn't find those particular ads anymore. It was really interesting. I was shocked when I seen a flip through. I can't remember whose video it was. Somebody did it. Oh, I know who it was. It was Johnny's. She was doing a flip through her big journal. Did you see that flip through that beautiful journal she made? She had the picture of the Mona Lisa in it. I thought the Mona Lisa was illegal. I thought that was copyright because it's a painting, but she had it in her book. I always thought stuff like that you couldn't use because it's considered a replica or something. Because I know paintings and photographs are completely different, but I didn't think you were allowed to use the Mona Lisa. Stuff like that I'm just curious about. It's like, how do people get away with using that painting when it's a famous painting? Yeah, but I didn't think you could use the Mona Lisa. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even pay attention to the price. I was just looking at the flip through. I love the cover she picked. But that's what I'm saying. Like I get confused on that because I thought the bigger paintings you weren't allowed to use. I have never asked or Googled if you could, but I thought it was copyrighted. I know, I don't know. I don't either. But I do know that like some of that kind of stuff carries over. They said that if somebody was handed down in the family the original prints, like when it comes to photographs, for instance, if the negatives are inherited down, that it can be an issue, that the copyright date has nothing to do with photos. But if everybody in the family has passed away and nobody owns the copyrights, then you can. I was shocked when I found that Beatrix Potter is no longer copyrighted. I wonder how that happened. The one that wrote about the Brer Rabbit and stuff. Anybody can use anything out of her books, is what I heard, because she's out of copyright now. But I have some books that were written like up it's not like vintage dated. I have Beatrix Potter books that are like, a current date, but she's out of copyright, and I wonder how that happened. Like, I wonder if somebody can sign that out or something. I don't know. I don't understand it all. No, because her copyrights are not 1920. The books I have are like, they're like from the 80s. Oh, that's interesting. So there's so much stuff to learn about it. Well, that's cool. Cleveland. People keep coming into my stream tonight asking me if I'm a tarot card reader. Well, I just had to go ring your bell. I have to check it out later. No, I don't know, Amy. I just get a headache. It's like I said, I like it because Michelle will post pictures on her Facebook page and she'll say copyright free, have at it, ladies. And I do know a couple people that have posted sites where you can go in and get copyrighted people. The artist gave the okay that it's a copyright image to use. As a matter of fact, I did pick up one of them out of that site and I have it as a pocket in my Holly Hobby journal. It's really pretty because they take photographs, and there's a site on here. I have to get the name of it, but everything on that site's copyright free, even though it could be taken yesterday. They just give permissions for people to use them as they want to. So there's some sites out there that does that. And I'm trying to get back into Junk Journal Junkies for some reason. Like, I'm in their selling one page, but I can't get back into the regular page because something happened when my Facebook updated. I got knocked out of Natasha's. I got knocked out of theirs. I was knocked out of like 3 different. I hate Facebook sometimes. It knocks people off my page. It just happens. So I'm trying to get back into the regulars because they have a bunch of files that like folders at the top of their Facebook page, and it tells you places. They give you links where you can go, and every image is copyright free. And I'm trying to get back in there because I was starting to collect some of them so that I had some to work with. But I'm going to be taking 2 pictures that's of my family, and I'm going to be scanning them in and sharing them with people because I'm allowed. I can do what I want. Even though I didn't take the pictures, it doesn't matter. My family said they don't care. So I'm going to share a picture of my great aunt that I have. It's like a postcard, and it's really cool. And a picture of my grandparents. and I'm going to be bringing them in. Yeah, because I want to share pictures that I know people can use. And I actually have some photography people could use if they wanted to. I love taking pictures. I don't care if people want to use them in their journals. I'm not selfish with copyrights. Who has nice artwork? Not me. I made these, but I didn't. This was just from napkins and stuff like that, but I don't do. Sometimes I doodle, but I've never really gotten into painting and stuff like that. I do it for fun. But I'm going to try to get the pictures in when I can. And I'm going to make copies of them too. My great aunt one, I love that one. That's my favorite one. But I want to share some of my old family pictures. I like to get a hold of some more if I could. But right now I only have 2 that I want to share. But it is nice when other people kind of do the work and then just share what you can use to help people out, but I don't want people to steer other people wrong either. And think that something's not copyright and share, and it happens to be, and you get in trouble. Yeah, these were, this is like paper pages because I only use bookstore. This was a book that was falling apart, so I finished taking it apart. And I turned the book page into, this is a napkin from the Dollar Tree. And I took the layers apart and then decoupaged it to this piece of paper once I turned it into an envelope. And then this is lace and a flower. And then these will go into journals eventually. I'm building up ephemera. These are tags I made, and this is dyed paper. And these are distress, and this is like pages turned into pockets. And then when you go to journal, I think I measured it. I measured these ones by a condensed Reader's Digest is what I use for an example, because this is usually the size of book as I do. This can be glued into here when you're journaling, and you can just turn it into a journal. This is what I call it a junk journal. This is washi tape, and this fabric came off of Patty's live sale. It kind of reminds me of Mother Goose. So I lined up the book because the book was falling apart, and I sewed these in. These are signatures, pages folded, and I rebuilt the book. And then eventually, when I go to use this as my journal, because this is going to be mine, I can put different things in. You could do stickers. You can do, it's kind of like, to me, a junk journal is a scrapbook and journal mixed as one book. Because you're basically scrapbooking in it. And then you can use this as a pocket and then put a card inside of it. Or you can use one of these type of envelopes and you can put a tag in it. Or I love how Patty came up with the burlap envelopes, and she put napkins in it, like hankies. So I thought that was cute. So many people got so many beautiful ideas on here. It's awesome. But that's what dog uses some of this stuff for when I go to decorate this one. And then these are my charms that I will replace because I didn't have bulb pens at the time. They're on paper clips for now, but I will change these into the bulb pens because I like the bulb pens better. Paper clips are okay. I like the bulb pens personally. It's just my preference. And these are what bulb pens look like, in case you don't know. You can poke this through the paper itself and then hang the charm from this. They just dangle better, I think, off of these than they do paper clips. So you can like hang these off of pages. and clip to it. The New Rage. I don't know how long junk journals have even been created. I'm not even sure when they started. Journals have been around forever, but I'm not sure about these. I'd never heard of these until I came to YouTube. Readers condensed digest books are very pretty. Once you lift up some of the covers, they have really pretty designs. I love this one. This is my favorite one out of all of them. I'd like to have another one that looks like this one. I haven't been able to find one yet. But I keep looking. I keep finding stripes and like the white ones, but I can't seem to find this blue one. 10 years ago? Oh, they're fairly new then. Yeah, I don't either. When I came to YouTube, I was like, I can't even remember how I stumbled on junk journals. I think somebody told me. Somebody else was starting to craft them and they're like, have you ever heard of a junk journal? I'm like, no. So they told me to search it on Google. And when I did, I was blown away. I was like, wow. Because I couldn't believe how many channels were making them. And it just never popped up in my little thing. So I must not have been Googling anything even close to these. All I know is when I finally did run a search, I couldn't believe how many videos there were of them. And I was like, I never heard of Funko Pops either. I even talked to my kids and I was like, you ever heard of Funko Pops? My kids were looking at me like, what? Because they've been around for a while too. I said, it's funny how some things are raging in some states, but yet other state people have never heard of them. My kids never knew. Like, we know the Cabbage Patch, babies and stuff like that. I never heard of Funko Pops. And then Sarah, Rebel Toys, she sent me my first Funko Pop because she felt sorry for me because I was in a live stream of a bunch of people who collected Funko Pops. And my question was, what is a Funko Pop? And everybody like stopped chatting. They're like, oh my God, we feel sorry for this girl. And then Sarah says, I'm going to send you your very first Funko Pop. And she did. I thought that was hysterical. I was like, I don't know. I never collected anything like that. I collected the horses. Now I've got probably 6 Funko Pops, 6 or 7 of them. But I don't want to collect them because I don't need something else to collect. I won a Mickey Conductor on a stream that was a Funko Pop and he mailed it to me. Sarah sent me the Grumpy Care Bear. That was my first Funko Pop. And then I saw my favorite, which was Sleepy Time. Sleepy Time Care Bear, and I couldn't resist it. I had to have it. So I bought Sleepy Time. I got Chewbacca. And I forget what the rest of them are. I only got a few though, but they're cute. I think a couple My Little Pony ones that were blue, of course, and I think one's a dark color. I think that's all I have, but they're adorable. But I do have some friends in the Funko Pop genre on YouTube that I follow and I watch and do Funko Pop unboxings. So I said I like different channels. Like I can't stick with just one category. And I hate that YouTube tries to force people to do that because I do like watching mixed channels. Like they force you to do one thing. And I like having a variety channel. I don't like just doing one thing. So it makes it hard for me to pick, like if I had to pick a YouTube category, I don't know what I would pick to be under because I love books, but then I love crafting and I love I do makeup and I love reviews. So I'm a variety channel. I've cooked on my channel. I've done makeup on my channel. I've done Funko Pop unboxings, makeup unboxings, skincare. I've done a lot on this channel since I've been here. Too much. This is all my scrap pieces left over from my coffee dye paper that I have no clue what I'm going to do with just yet, but I'm hanging on to my scrap pile, figuring out what to do with it later. Let's stick another clip on this. Keisha told me she saved me something, but I never did get to go to her stream to find out what she saved me. I don't know if she was selling it in her stream because she likes picking out horse stuff for me, but I missed her last sale because I never got the notification. I have a calendar on my desk, and I need to start keeping stuff in it again. I need to get a new calendar because if I don't write stuff down, I will never remember. I can't rely on YouTube because their notifications aren't always accurate. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. And I do have them all set to get every single time, but it doesn't always work that way. One thing nice about staying on different times and coming on different times of the day is you definitely catch people from different countries too. The different time zones. Because I know like Orange, Australia is like 9 hours ahead of me. UK is like 5 hours ahead of me. So you never know who you're going to meet when you're on here on different hours. That's for sure. That's one thing I loved about Yahoo too. Our chat room had all different countries in it. It was awesome. We had Canadian people, Irish people. We used to hang out with a bunch of different people from different countries. I wonder what happened to a lot of them though. Because some of them disappeared before Yahoo left. I remember the chick that got me into the MSN stuff to begin with, she was Wiz from the UK. I remember seeing Wiz. I can't remember her full ID. I just remember Wiz being in it. She was so nice. She kept sending me an invitation to an MSN joke page. That's how it all started. And then I met a bunch of people in there. It was a lot of fun. Lots of great crafters, I'll tell you that. One lady got a hold of my daughter's college graduation picture, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in an animation when we were doing it. I don't know what she used because a bunch of people use different things. Like they had Dreamweaver, GIMP, all kinds of different art programs. And it was really cool because she took her picture and it was like, she surprised me with it. She put it in like behind an animated curtain, and it was like a rainforest. It was all green and it was beautiful. It had like botanicals up the side, and then the curtain opened, or it was like a door. It wasn't a curtain. It was more like a sliding doors. And it was like real sheer, and it was all animated. The doors would open and then you would see my daughter's picture in the center. And another cool one I still have, because these are all buried within my rares. I'll have to find them. But another one was a woman created a tag animated like Scrabble. And it's so cool because you would see the Scrabble board, like where you lay the letters, and your letters were jumbled all around. And then all of a sudden they would form into your name. It was the coolest. And then the gopher from the gopher from Caddyshack. Somebody made it dancing out of the hole. It was an animation of the gopher doing the dance with his hands, like to the "I'm all right," and your name was above the tag. They were really creative over there. And I love the gopher because I thought it was funny because every time I see it, even you can't hear the music, but it pops in your head when you see that gopher dancing. I was rolling when I saw that one. I was like, this is so cute. And it's like they would fill your mailbox on MSN and you would go in for your birthday and you would be like plowed with all this stuff. I loved it. I thought it was so cute because you never knew what you were going to get. So I still have them all. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get them out and show people. Well, hello. How are you, Renee? Doing good. Getting tired though. I'm past my 8-hour limit. We just did some crafts earlier. We've just been gabbing. It's one of those nights. This is what I miss about Yahoo, though. We used to have a nice chats just going, people just talking and just having fun, goofing off, talking about deep stuff, talk about low stuff, being goofy. And I typed in 10 names of channels that I kind of gave shout outs to. That's what I do on Welcome Wednesdays. And when the video's over, probably tomorrow at when it posts, I'll put them in the 10 people's channels I shouted out will be their links will be in the description with their channel names. I do that on Wednesdays. I think it's cool to share out channels. Some follow, some don't. They're mainly channels just I've been to visit, channels I like. It can even be bigger YouTubers, little YouTubers, it don't matter. I like doing shout outs for just my favorites. I need to pay more attention to my Instagram than I have, but I'm never hardly on Instagram anymore. YouTube takes up so much time. Excuse me. I gotta work today at 11. I'm gonna be dragging today. I'm gonna look like a hag later, Amy. I'm gonna be fighting my way out of bed. I would like to go over to I like to take like half the day off actually and go visit a couple places. I want to go to our antique mall and a couple places to look around. You have graduation rehearsal. Did you post it on your Instagram? I don't think I'm on your Instagram. See, I did for my makeup challenge too. I have some pictures of me when I was in my makeup days. I look like a complete different person. Is it graduation from college or graduation from high school or just graduation from something else? Hmm. No, you, Amy. I don't think I have your Instagram. Well, congratulations, Renee. When I started into makeup, it was funny because I actually had my hair dyed. I did something different and put like stripes through my hair. My husband loved my hair when it was like that, but I look like a complete different person with makeup on. That's what I said. It's like when a person wears makeup and fixes herself up, I don't like doing it all the time. I tease my I teased my nephew because he saw me at my daughter's wedding. He goes, Aunt Tammy says, you look beautiful. And I'm like, that's because you don't see me dressed up all the time. I go, thanks for the compliment, but I hardly ever wear makeup. And I think it's funny because when people do wear makeup every day and they do look spectacular every day, people are shocked when they see people without it. Like they take it for granted. So I kind of like surprising people every once in a while and putting makeup and stuff on because they're not used to seeing me that way. But I did like my hair the way it was. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I never could get into false eyelashes. I tried it for a challenge. That was part of the 30-day makeup challenge we did back in when I started Instagram and stuff. And it was fun to do it. And I actually did put them on right and everything. But it just looked weird. But it's just not my thing because my eyelashes are long anyways, so I really don't need false. But it does change people's faces though. Like there's a couple younger girls on here that they look so different when they put their false lashes on. Like they look so beautiful with them. There you go. I mean, I'm not saying they're a bad thing. They're just not my style. I love seeing people try stuff like that on. Haley Barber, that's her name. She's one of the ones that I follow. I keep forgetting to put her out there. She is so adorable. She was just a young girl that started putting makeup on, and somebody noticed her that was on YouTube, that was in the higher up. I don't know if she's a makeup company owner or what. She flew her to California and she actually ended up, what was it, the My Little Pony eyeshadow palette? Who made that? She did, I think she did the no, Haley has different color hair all the time. I love her when her hair's pink. Oh my God, she's so adorable. She looks like a totally different person with no makeup. That's what I think is funny when you get to see some of these people before they do their makeup, because if they would walk out in public with no makeup, people wouldn't know who they were. But putting makeup on, it's crazy. She's probably had her hair black. She's had her hair different, dyed different colors, but I like her hair when she's pink. She's on let me see if I can find her. Hold on a second. She's on Instagram too, but let me pull up her YouTube channel because I follow her on both. And she's so adorable. Like she's young, but she's so cute. Like I've talked to her back and forth through the threads. Her and her mom got to go on a brand trip and she took us with her. And I thought it was so cool to be able to see behind the scenes, like what some of these people go through. And she went into the hotel room and they had all this makeup laying around. Let me see if I can get her channel so you guys can go check her out. Because she takes you on a lot of vlogs and it's like really cool because she was like a little kid squealing. Like they had her favorite candy and all this stuff like lined up in her room. And her and her mom went together and she's just adorable. Okay, here's a video where her hair is still pink. Let me get a copy of her link. I think she's adorable, but she looks like a complete different person with makeup, and somebody saw it and they made her famous. That's her name. She's so cute. She's one of my favorite young YouTubers. But she's on Instagram too. And so anyway, she got flown out and then she started doing modeling and different things, and she tells it like it is. Like when she went to meet some of the bigger people where they all get together for makeup conventions and things like that, and she was explaining like how people were. She said so many people are so fake in some of them events because they'll like jump in front of you like, can we have a selfie? And they'll take a selfie and then she says they never talk to you again for the rest of the night. Like she keeps it real. And I think that's one of the things I like about her because she's adorable. And all because she was just playing with makeup. You know what I mean? So you never know who's watching you on YouTube. You never know who's peeking in on your channel. I thought it was adorable. Yeah. I want to go to the Ipsy one. What's that called? Is it called Gen Con or something like that? Where you get together and you go and you get a bag of makeup, like you pay a price and you get to go around to the different, they have like I guess different places for different makeup, but there's one of the girls on here, I think her name's Sadie. I was watching her channel and she was showing like this great big makeup bag, and they fill like you up with makeup and like you pay a price and then you go in, and if you're a makeup artist, I think you go the day before, and yeah, it's like the makeup artists get to do something else like the day before, but then regular people can come in. They have it in New York too, because I don't live near California. So we can go to New York for it, or you can go to California for it. But I think it's called Gen Con or something like that. I have to look it up. But I keep telling my daughter, let's go to New York. Let's go do this. I want to do it one year. She wants to too, but her kids are too small. So it's something that we may plan in the future. She's been to New York. My daughter loves New York, but I've never been there. She went up there shopping around, buying all the knockoff purses and stuff. She likes doing stuff like that, but I just want to go to the makeup thing. I think that's what it's called, Gen Con. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I even got an Ipsy box I haven't even opened yet. Nope, I have never been to California. I've never been out west. I've been to Maryland, Virginia, Florida, Tennessee, Ohio, PA, West Virginia, of course, and I think that's it. I used to get BoxyCharm, but I was kind of got disappointed in it. BoxyCharm was really good when it first started and stuff, but then when they went to the deluxe, I don't know, it just changed. Like they quit putting eyeshadows and stuff in it, and they were putting like bronzers and like I don't know. I just didn't like it anymore, so I canceled BoxyCharm and I went from the Ipsy bag to the box. They still call it the Ipsy Glam bag, and it should be called box because it doesn't come in a bag. I got family that lives in Texas, but I've never been there. That sounds like fun though. I would like to get in my car and just take a road trip. I don't mind flying. I like to fly, but I just think it would be fun just to jump in your car and go and just to hit. Like, I want to go. I keep teasing my husband. I have it all planned out. I told him I want to get a camper. I want to go and stay in each state for a month. It would take us 4 years to get across the United States and back. I think it would be fun. I want to go stay. I want to go to hit every RV lot we can in every single state, and just that's my dream vacation. Just to check out all the states, map out all the places we want to see and just go. Oh, I know. I think it would be a blast. And then my mom's going, well, what if something happens at home and I said, Mom, it's not like we can't come home. I just think it would be cool to just hit every state and actually, because I think more tourists have seen more of the United States than I have. I've never been to the Statue of Liberty. There's so much I haven't done yet. And I love it. There was this one girl that was vlogging one day, and it's just really sad because I never got to see the Twin Towers except in pictures. And then when all the tragedy happened, it was so cool that she did a vlog of everything they turned it into. I got to see the memorial fountain that they made. And if it wasn't for her vlog, I would never get to see something like that. So I told my husband, I'm not getting any younger, dude. We need to hit the road, Jack. Get out there and live a little. He's been everywhere. My husband's been all over the United States. He's been out west. He loved the Teton Mountains. Um, he served in the military. He has been to Italy. He's been all over the place, Brat. I said, now it's my turn. I don't care if we leave the country, but I at least want to get around the states. Aw, that's awesome, Renee. I went to Tennessee and absolutely loved it. Oh, we went horse trailing. We went to Pigeon Forge, Dollywood, and Gatlinburg. We went to Douglas Dam and we horse trailed. We took a nature horse trail. It was so much fun. We stayed a cabin in the mountains. And then that fire that happened took out the cabin we actually stayed in. They had a great big fire down there that wiped out a lot of the cabins. Did you? That is so cool. I've never been to Nashville, but my mother's been on the outskirts of it and she loved it. I loved it. I mean, I'm from West Virginia and I love the country here. And I swear, if I ever picked another state to live in, it would definitely be Tennessee. I just think Tennessee is a beautiful state. I felt like a second home when I was there. Florida, I don't see what the big thing is about Florida. I was kind of in Fort Myers. We went to St. Pete. I wasn't really impressed with Florida. It was okay to visit, but it's not a place I would want to live. Now, I was never an upper state. Like we've got family down in Pensacola. I've never been to that part of the state, so maybe I would like it better. But I just felt like it was, I don't know, I felt like I was in a swamp state. I guess because we were so down below, it's like all water, and people were saying you couldn't even build a basement because it's under water level. I would not like living in a state like that. I just wasn't impressed with it at all. And then my nephew, it was funny. I mean, like years later, like I never even talked to him about it, but like he took his wife and he stayed down. He hated it too. He came home. And I was like, well, at least I'm not the only one in the family that feels this way. They were trying to make a life down there. He had a good job and stuff, but he hated it. I don't remember what part of Florida he was in, but they were even looking for a house and stuff down there and they almost moved down there. But he said he was so glad it fell through because he couldn't wait to come home. He got back here and then he ended up settling down, but he really hated it. He said it was like his biggest explanation was like it was living like you felt like you were on another planet. He said it was such a melting pot and it was sad because he worked in the hospital area and it might have to do with the language barrier too, because he didn't know Spanish and a lot of people that came into the hospital and worked there, they all spoke different languages. And he says it was really hard to like comfort a family when they didn't understand English and he couldn't speak their language. He said it was like such a melting pot. He had a really rough time, like talking to people and communication and stuff, but he just didn't like it. And he said the cost of living was so outrageous. And I was like, I don't know. He missed it back here, so he came home. I like West Virginia though. I mean, here it's like kind of quiet. I don't care for a lot of this stuff. I don't feel like I feel like some people here are nice. Like you can go on a walking trail and people will say hi to you and stuff, but I also feel a standoffishness with people here. Like sometimes people can be snobby here. too, so you kind of have both. Um, there was a couple girls I ran into from Washington State that were here for a little bit, and one of the girls told me that she found that in some places she felt the same way. She says, I'm not even from this state, but she says, I feel like people here like look down their nose and judge a little too much when they should be a little bit more relaxed. And I go, yeah, I get that feeling here sometimes too, but it depends on where you're at. Like some places can be friendly, some places aren't. I've never been to Seattle, but I don't mind the states I've been to. I've never felt anybody was snobby to me. I always felt like people were welcoming no matter where I've been. But then I'm a people person too, so I like being around people. I don't like being in a store where you're butt to butt on really bad traffic. Oh, my husband like freaks out. He gets really bad anxiety when when he's in a very busy public place. He would rather go shopping like at 2 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody there. He's not much of a busy person, but I don't mind a mild crowd. I don't like when we're bumper to bumper, but I like being around people. I think it's fun getting to know new people. It's a blast. But I'm just from a little itty bitty town. Sometimes I think it's nice if you live into like a city type environment because you can walk to your stores and you don't got to drive if they're like right by you where your apartment is or whatever. Because I did like we used to live in town. Our apartment was right beside a little grocery store. So if we ever wanted anything, everything was right there and I could walk. But I also like the country too. I don't know how I feel about a city like it's really busy because I've never lived in one. But if I did, my dream city view would be sitting in my apartment with my window open, listening to a person on the rooftop playing the saxophone. That would be my dream city apartment. Listen to music just floating in the air. I would love it. Yep, I hear you. I wish I could go to California. I told my husband I would love to see California at least once in my lifetime. I have a friend on Facebook I met through Yahoo Chat who lives in Malibu. He tells me all the time he would show me pictures of Malibu. The water was so beautiful. He said, you would so love to just drive up the coast of Malibu. I don't know what part I would want to visit. California is a huge state. That would be funny. I hear a lot about Los Angeles. People like it. But I don't know what part I'd want to visit. I just don't know. I used to watch Melrose Place, and I know they showed like around that area, but I can't remember where it was exactly located. That was one of my favorite shows on TV. Oh, it was so sad about Luke Perry too from 90210. They were supposed to have a reunion. Is it really? That's awesome. Sometimes I hear it's Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I've never been there either. But anyways, guys, this is part 2. You still with me, Amy, or did you fall asleep? I gotta get off of here. We've been out here for hours. I haven't been asleep yet. I need to go to bed. Oh, that's so funny. That sounds like a good time, Renee. That's hysterical. Uh-oh. You're over there on a gluing spree, are you? Well, I'm sure whatever you're gluing's gonna look pretty. Oh, that sounds awesome. City life sounds awesome, I'm sure. I bet, Amy. You're gonna be really tired next week. We're gonna be worn out. We'll see how long we can make this sale go next week. I should have just said it starts at 5 and ends at question. Oh my god, I'll be so slap happy. I'd be putting the wrong names on the wrong items. That'd be my luck. I did the worst thing that I ever did since I started the live sale is the last one. I accidentally sent the wrong order to a different person and I did not realize it. It's like I thought it, and then I thought because I moved one of the boxes and I didn't pay attention and I grabbed the wrong box and it was awful. I had to wait for the order to come back. Thank God the person sent it back and I did reimburse them for the postage, but it was my fault. I totally sent it to the wrong person. I felt so bad because she had to wait for her order and I'm like, oh well, but we did get it straightened out. I mean, thank God we have great people on these streams when this happens. But that's the worst I've done since I started these sales. It was terrible. Well, thank you for stopping, Renee. You were very delightful to chat with. You seem like a fun person. You have a good one, and I hope you enjoy your day. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to let Amy go because she needs her sleep. We're having too late of a YouTube party. Haven't been on YouTube this long since the very first time I was here. Good night, all. You guys have a great one. Bye. Mwah. Thanks for stopping. Oh, thanks, Amy. I'll be dragging butt tomorrow. Or should I say today? I go to work here in about 5 hours. No, 4 hours. I'll be lucky to get 4 hours of sleep. I'll be dragging butt. But yep, good night. You guys have a great day.